Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Welch, aka ENFP Hoops. I'm joined by Amby Wrights and TJ, and we're
What's
just going
going
to be
on,
going
guys?
over potential Atlanta Dream free agent potentials and who we want to bring onto the roster. More continuing what we did last episode and who we would want to resign and just what our full roster makeup would look like. And I am sure Amber and TJ are going to disagree to at least a couple of my picks for each one. I think they were pretty controversial. I wasn't even fully on board, but just general thing for us to be able to talk about players and go from there.
I don't. How you not on board and you got picks? I don't. That's crazy. I want to see them now. Now you have me intrigued.
I
Now I
did
want to
three
see
different
because you don't
scenarios
agree
because
with
I
me.
wanted to
Now I
talk
want to see
about
what happens.
players. So, and yeah, let's start with the first one. Amber saw a little bit of the first one, and yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on the point guard. So here's my first one of coming up with a 12-player roster. So starting at point guard, what are your thoughts on Jordan Kanda, Amber? Because I know you're a Sparks fan as well as a Dream fan.
Oh Lord. I mean, Jordan can run the point. That's no big deal. My problem with her is that she shoots way too much. She's not the best shooter in the world. If she could get to the rim, great. But like her like chucking it from three, absolutely not. I don't
And
need any of that. That would really grate my gears really bad.
And she was not a prospect for me, and someone I would want the Dream to sign, like heading into the free agent period. But I watched a couple of her last
Mm-hmm.
5 games, and she only had one game where she shot over 6 attempts. Like you said, she does go shot happy sometimes, and she was not very efficient to say the least in some of those games where she chucked it up a lot. But
If at
in the
all.
games where she focused more on her passing and playmaking ability, I felt like there was something there. Like,
Well, dude, what?
I mean, I
So go ahead, Amber.
no, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, as a playmaker, she's fine. I like the fact that like when she actually runs the offense, she can run it well. But like I feel like sometimes she just feels like, oh, I need to go for a shot right now. Like her decision making sometimes kind of throws it off. And that could be a train wreck. That's
I
just me.
agree. Like, she would have to come in knowing that she's going to feed it to the scorers that are already on the roster, like especially Ryan and Cheyenne, feeding them and giving them the
Mm-hmm.
primary opportunities, and her not being the vocal point of the offense. So
That's what
it,
I
it,
was. I was thinking if she's shot happy and she's trigger happy, you can't be. I don't. You don't with this team. No, you can't be trigger happy because everybody else wants to. Think
Mm-mm.
about it. Ryan can shoot. Cheyenne's gonna get in the post and she's probably gonna body whoever's in front of her. And you got to think, bruh,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to be a shot happy. People are gonna get frustrated because they gonna want their shots. And
Yeah.
Ron needs the ball. For me, she needs the ball at least. She needs to at least touch the ball at least every possession. She needs to at least touch it
at
once.
least most of the time, like transition offense, I can understand her not touching
Yeah,
it, but
but
like in
if we're in
set plays, I
set
agree. She
pieces,
needs to touch the ball every time. So
half court set.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to at least
exactly.
touch it once, at least once. Even if it's an outlet pass
At
and she's
least.
cutting back doors, something she needs to at
Mm-hmm.
least touch it once because she's too talented not to touch the ball, and so you got to give it to her. So you can't have somebody that's gonna come down the court. Oh, I got some space. Let me just yank it. You can't have that. Like
Exactly.
that's gonna be annoying after a while. And then
Mm-mm.
Cheyenne in the low post, you can't be like, oh, Cheyenne, she's gonna shoot this time. She just gonna shoot again. Like you gotta think that's gonna get annoying. Like she could be wide open, she might just pull it. She gonna be like, okay, nah. That's gonna get you don't need
And
that.
that's
Mm-mm.
what
I don't
I
agree with that.
primarily want from the point guard position this season, is someone that can just feed the players we have and everything. And we were discussing Ari a little before we broadcasted and everything. In my opinion, she's a great spark plug off the bench, but I just don't think she's at the level yet where she can start. I definitely want to see improvement in her playmaking ability. Her in the paint game drastically improved. Like if you looked at her
Yeah, it
2-point
did.
makes and 2-point percentage, but
Mhm.
her 3-point game went up and down, and then again, just the passing, it didn't take the jump that I wanted to. What about you, Amber and TJ? What are your thoughts on Ari?
I'll go
Um.
first. Oh, you want to go first? Who want to go first? You can go
Mhm.
first.
No, go ahead.
Um,
Go ahead.
I think that I fell in love with her at Arizona on the run she took Arizona on. I was kind of when we got her, I was really more excited that we got her. I was just like, oh yeah, I like that. I was like, I like that pick. I was like, that's a great starter pick. I was like, that's a
Mhm.
great pick. When we got her, I was like, that's a great pick. And then I was like, going into this year, when we
Mhm.
got Ryan, I was like, oh, we got a killer backcourt. And then we didn't start Ari, and I was like, okay, maybe it's something. You had to watch her, and now that when I really watched her this season, I was like, yeah, I can see why she didn't start. And so I still see
Mhm.
the improvement though. She's a better 3-point shooter than she was a rookie year. She's a better mid range. She can shoot in the mid range. She'll take it to the cup. She's really quick, and I really enjoy that about her because she's gonna go. She goes fast 9 times out of 10, and I think that might be a
Mhm.
in a transition team. If we were just a transition ball team, like grab the rebound and go, she's the perfect point guard. But if we go on and set, she's not built yet for that. Not yet. I feel like this year, like I was saying like earlier, I was like, this year is the year where she needs to really take it and take the leadership and be like, okay, I'm gonna be the starter. Like she needs to come out there and play like the starter off the bench. And then I feel like she has to earn it. And it's not just off of her scoring. She has to be better playmaking wise. Like literally, she just has to be better playmaking wise. And I'll give her the credit. I'll be like, yeah, she needs to start. She misses passes, and then she'll miss passes, and then she'll try to go back to the same pass and miss it again. I'm like, okay, yeah, just stop doing it. It's just like repetitive stuff with her,
Mhm.
which I think she needs to break. And other than that, she's straight. I mean, she's good. She can be a starter next year if it just takes her this playmaking wise.
And yet, me personally, like I didn't put her as a starter in any of these, and yeah, I don't know. Like I just want someone that's there that can split the time. That's why I went with someone like Jordan Canada, uh, because she's used to not being like a player playing like 30 minutes. She had a chunk of games where she played in that 20 to 25 minute range, and it would get plenty of time to see what we have in Arian. What are your thoughts on her, Amber? Similar to TJ, or is there more that you want to add?
Similar, but I feel like if she can improve that 3-point shot, I feel like I would give her a lot of run if she's gonna run with somebody like a Jordan Canada, because defenses are gonna slack off of a Jordan Canada because they know she can't shoot. So that will affect the spacing a lot. So I feel like if Ari is able to space the floor in this
Mm-hmm.
scenario, it will be really handy to have her coming off the bench.
No, like her shooting, like if she can have the improvement she had in her shooting game, like 2-point percentage specifically, she went up from 34.3%
Mm-hmm.
to 46.9. So just huge improvements in that game. And then 2-point attempts per 40 went up from 5.7 to 8.1. So
She's
she's
taking better
grown more
shots.
comfortable in her paint game. It's just,
Yeah.
I would want to see her when she drives, uh, not panicking and
Mm-hmm.
putting like a rush shot up or getting
Yeah,
smothered and then
she does that
potentially
too
a
much. G.
turnover. Yeah, I want her to like be able to push it back to a teammate that will be open when she causes the defense to swarm her, to feed it out to Ryan or someone that's
Mm-hmm.
on the outside to be able to knock it down.
I think
Yeah,
that
that decision making.
she's right there. She's there. I mean, she's right there. Like that 2% jump. That's a crazy percentage jump. If that was think about it as an NBA, if that was
Mm-hmm.
as an NBA player, they would be like, oh my god, he's probably most improved player this year. Like that's a crazy jump. Like that's something where you see her working on it, and I feel like it's just confidence because she'll miss one and you'll see her head go down. You'll be like, hey, come on, shoot another one. Keep shooting them. She'll stop shooting them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I feel like she's been comfortable in the paint because she's more comfortable in the paint. She feel like she has more free will. She can beat somebody off the dribble, because she's quick with the ball. She's quick in general, and she can shoot the mid range. It's like when she gets to that 3-point line, she's wide open. She'll miss. She'll just look like she'll just lose her confidence, and then she'll get open again. Then she'll want to lay it up, or she'll want to take it, and there's somebody in front of her. You're like, hey, you can't. You gotta, It's the confidence. I feel like it's still more a confidence thing. Like when she hits them, you can see it. She won't miss. When she hits them enough, she won't miss. It's kind of automatic. But when she misses one, it's like her whole confidence gets shot. I'm like, she has to shake that. She has to get out of her head, I think. I think that's the only thing now is like it's in her head.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you. I think her rookie season, she had that where like there was a confidence game and how much she shot the ball. But I felt like this past season, she played her game regardless offensive wise. Like she was going to shoot her 3 ball. Like there were times this season, I felt like I wanted her to pass the ball more when she had those opportunities to beat an open teammate, like just having that more in her game. So I felt like she was a confident shooter. Amber, I'm gonna make you be the deciding vote on this. Like, how did you think of Aries' confidence as a shooter, specifically last season?
Well, I mean, she let it fly. She had her games where she let it fly and it was automatic. You're right. But I mean, I feel like most of when she hits the paint, I agree with you. When she hits the paint, she doesn't like really make the best decision. Sometimes she goes up with a shot and I'm like, it's the worst shot that she can take. But I feel like, I mean, yeah. I wish she would pass out of those situations more often than not, but she has to really try to build up her body to absorb that contact. So I don't know. I feel like that confidence, I mean, it'll build as time goes on, as long as she sees it going in. But yeah.
Yeah, and I would agree she's close, but like we were discussing this before the broadcast, like she doesn't really have the size to become a 2 where she can like become that player that just mainly shoots the ball and drives to the basket. Like if she's going to be a point guard, she has to be someone that's going to drive that efficiency for other players and create those opportunities. So if she starts doing that, then I'm willing to start talking about her getting more minutes, but I'm not comfortable to put the offense in her hand yet.
I'm nowhere near. No.
Yeah,
you can't. You can't. I feel like you just can't. You just it's something that's like it's just pushing you away from it. I don't. For me, I feel like I'm used to seeing people not being that good of playmakers. I wouldn't say not WNBA wise, but they're being elite scorers. But like NBA players, like there's starters that aren't good at certain point guards that aren't that good at passing, but they're really good elite scorers. Dame is the first person I thought of when I said that. Dame is one of those guys where he's gonna score the bucket. He's gonna shoot, like he's gonna take that shot, and that's why I say I want her confidence on that level. If she was to just be, I'm not gonna cuss, but if she just be like, you know what, F it, I'm just gonna take it. Like if she can give it off when she needs to give it off, or when she sees the open player, then I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the starter. But she hasn't given me that yet. That it's not like she's not. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say confidence. I say her tendencies. I think it's just tendencies now for me. I need her to get her tendencies better. Once her tendencies get better, then I was like, okay, yeah, you ready to go. And that's when I give her the start role. Her tendencies aren't there yet.
I feel
that. And Amber, I want to ask you about my shooting guard group. Like I made it really young. Would you want to go with this young of a lineup?
Super young.
The 2? Super young.
Wow. You know what? Looking at it, I mean, I actually kind of like the youth at that position. If you can have those veterans mixed in, I'm okay with it. But going that young, I mean, it's worth a try. Because everybody, I mean, I feel like Diamond Miller especially is going to be a big energy player if we're able to land her in the draft. That would be excellent.
That was my thoughts. I have
But-
Haley Jones in another scenario, but yeah, that was my thought on like having two players that are just dynamic and can drive to the paint. But they knock down their jump
'cause
shot
everybody on this
consistently
list
enough where you
can.
have to respect it. So
That spaces the floor a lot.
I
So I'm not opposed to that at all.
is there
like her
anything
next to
you
Ron.
highly disagree with on here besides like being iffy on Jordan Canada? Is there anything else on here you'd be like, who is this? Or
Kind of iffy about.
I don't think they'd be a good fit.
You know what? Looking at this list, it actually looks pretty solid besides the Jordan Canada, because I feel like, you know, Diamond, as long as Diamond doesn't get like too crazy and start checking stuff, I mean, I feel like it would be okay. That's gonna come with some playing time and some good coaching, but it's actually a pretty solid list to me.
Awesome. I thought it was going to get more pushback. My Jordan Horston pick, that's just more of a fantasy. Like, I don't know if she would drop all the way to 8 with how she's playing for Tennessee lately, but just someone that just has a really complete game, especially this season.
But you know WNBA trash.
I was going to say, you know how the draft
always
goes.
go left.
Especially
you know
the Fever. You just don't know.
She could slip all the way to the second round.
It never goes right. It will never go right. And every year it's just like, man, we should get this player. Every mock draft, you should get this player. Nah, man, you ain't gonna get that player. You be like, bro, what happened? What happened? You be so confused. I'll be like, how? What happened? Where'd the value come from? How'd she go to?
But then there's people like Queen Egbo. Like, I wasn't expecting her to be good, and she was actually solid with the Fever and everything. So sometimes these questionable picks,
she was better than solid. To be honest.
I like the list. I'm go ahead, Amber.
No, I was just gonna say back to that point about Queen Egbo. Like, I was one of those people that was talking junk on draft night. Like, why was she picked so high?
Oh, me too.
This is a terrible pick. And then not to mention her clapping back at a few people and being like, "Really? That's what y'all gonna do right now?" And then she went out there and killed it.
She did.
So I mean,
especially when Alyssa was hurt, like she really stood out. Obviously, it didn't lead to what the Fever wanted in the season, but like I think there's a lot of potential there. And after this broadcast, I'm going straight to Kansas versus Baylor. I'm a huge fan of Tiana Jackson of Kansas. I think her shooting game has improved dramatically. Like, she plays extremely well defensively and is just a monster on the glass. If you haven't had a chance to watch her, but strongly recommend tuning into that game and getting a look at her. And then obviously I've been talking about Azure like since a little before the season ended. I really want her in the Dream uniform and her and Cheyenne. So
that would be nice.
Absolutely.
I like that you brought back Maya. I do like that. I think people, I don't know. I'm a Georgia fan. I'm a homer. So of course I'm gonna love Maya Caldwell. But I think that what Maya was a different, when she came back the second time, I was like, oh yeah, she needs to be signed. I said, yeah, she needs to be on this team. I was like, yeah, she's good. And I've watched her at Georgia, and I was like, yeah, she's her. And when she was at Georgia, I was like, yeah, she's her. And I was just like, I was like, if the Dream take her, or she goes to the Dream, I'd be happy. But I want to see her succeed somewhere. If she wasn't gonna be, if she was gonna be a star somewhere, because I knew she wasn't gonna be a star. If she would have came to the Dream, I feel like she wasn't gonna be the star piece. But now her doing what she's doing, she's a really good bench piece. And I just love her game. I don't know what it is. I just love watching her play. She reminds me of
her compete level is through the charts, and
she reminds me of my sister. Like, she plays like how my sister used to play, and I'll be like, yeah. I was like, yeah, she's cold. Like, our sister used to like how she drives to, but my sister when I was little, my sister used to kill me with that, and I'd be like, yeah. That's why I like her. So that's the same way with Ron. Every time I watch them two, I'm like, yeah, that's my sister right there. Like, that's the first person I think of, and I'm like, yeah, that's cold. I was like, she's too nuts. I was like, she's nuts. And her off the bench with Aerie, and then you could think of bringing in Ron at a certain point, with rotation wise, having them three on the court is nuts. That's
Maya and Ryan really fed off of each other. And no, like I mentioned this in the last episode, but
Yes.
Maya Caldwell had the second best 3-point percentage with players that shot at least 30 times in WNBA history. So she had an incredible season. I'm hoping whether it's with us or with another team, she gets a full opportunity. And we were discussing this before the episode, Amber. Like, I'm hoping she really doesn't have hard feelings and what happened in that final game where she wasn't played in the second half after killing it in that first half against the Liberty. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think she's a shoo-in to sign back with us, or do you think there's a chance that she wants to go somewhere else?
Hey, like I feel like, you know, if it was me, I might feel a little like some type of way, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see if there's, some fillers out for her. Hopefully it's not as, as much, so we could probably pull it back in. But I don't know. I wouldn't say we were a shoo-in. Definitely
I'll
not.
say,
but
I'll say Pat over. I'll say this. I think Pat over and Coach Wright, they kind of got the sauce. They know what to do. They know what to say. They know how to get, if they need to get her back, because they got her back after the first chance. And you would think after the first tryout, she did well enough.
It was a little up and down, so I can understand her
Mm-hmm.
not being immediately signed by another team. This time, I'll make a prediction. If we don't have her signed by the first 2 days of free agency,
she's going
somewhere else.
She's going somewhere else.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'll say, but as a Georgia, as her being a Georgia girl, I feel like she'd want to stay somewhere, because most people most people being like, okay, I want to stay, close to home or somewhere near home. So her being next to Athens and always being able to be next to her college and being able to go back and go, coach those girls up. Like she has a really big opportunity if she stays in Georgia, financially and playing wise. Let's be honest. She stays in Atlanta financially, you're a star because hometown, all of that. You're a homegrown hero because at Georgia she was a homegrown hero. So
but the way she played last season, if she goes somewhere else and plays the same way over an entire season, she'll become an instant face in whatever city she goes to too. So it's definitely
it's
not
hard.
Absolutely.
It's so
I'm going
hard.
to my second one. This is going to look a lot different. This involves a trade with the Dallas Wings. I have us trading the rights to Tiffany Hayes. She talks to the Wings and she wants to sign with them so that they get her rights. We trade the 3rd pick and the 8th pick, and we get Awak Kue. Marina Mabry, she agrees to sign with us, and then we get the 6th pick. So this is how I had us looking. I was wanting Alicia, but I don't know. I'm getting more skeptical that she gets traded now, but I don't know. To me, Mabry not getting re-signed at the same time as Enrique, it makes me think that there may be something there.
Yeah.
That she may be traded. And Ryan and Marina have been playing really well together over in Italy, so I thought it would be interesting bringing her over. And then at point guard, I put Mariah Jefferson, who I thought had a really good season with the Lynx. So anything on here stand out that you wouldn't agree with, or?
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I love
and it. I kind of like the way these pieces fit too. Yeah.
I was saying, like, I don't have anything.
I love the way these
pieces fit. Too much time on this probably going through different scenarios, but
hey,
I've always been fascinated.
You did a great job.
A trade with the Wings.
Yeah, and I like that leftover money. Yeah. That's what I like. I like that leftover money. That's what we can get.
That's probably me doing something wrong. That's probably what that means.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No, I mean I'm doing the math right, but someone's going to ask for more. Like Brianna Jones on the 150,000 range. Like I kept the left. Like I tried keeping extra money because other players might want more. Like Mariah Jefferson, she might want more than 85K with how she did with the Minnesota Lynx. So just having that flexibility. How do you feel about Mo Jefferson?
Who, me or?
Man, I love her. I feel like.
Go ahead, Amber.
Hey, I love her. I feel like her intensity on the defensive end. I love defensive minded players, and she was one of those people that like she gonna go for the loose ball. Like her hair is gonna be all over the place by the end of the game because sis is gonna be going end to end. She gonna be like a bowling ball down there. Like I love those type of players. Like she's a hard nosed player and she's a knockdown shooter too. So I mean,
And
that
I'll
would be
admit, when
very
she
interesting to see her.
and when she went to
Go
Minnesota,
ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, I doubted her game with it not working out in Dallas. I'm like, oh, maybe there's other players that have passed her up in the chain, and she's meant to go overseas and work on her game more. But yeah, she put an exclamation point on that early that she belonged in the W
Oh,
with how she clicked with that Lynx team. She was phenomenal.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, what
She
are
just needs
your
that
thoughts,
change of
TJ,
scenery.
on Mariah Jefferson playing the
I,
play?
I'm looking at her stats right now. That's why I'm looking. That's why I got quiet. I was looking at her stats. Yeah, she had a great. I'm looking at from where she like her improvement was. She's. If we're going to have a point guard that next to Ron, because Ron is a defensive. I'll say this. She played defense better than I don't know if I was expecting her to play that defense. I don't know, but her defensive game
Too
was
many
like
people talking about her
nuts.
compete level, and it's been there. Just
Yeah,
Anyway,
like it's
Oh yeah.
nuts. Like when Ron gets hot and she wants to like win a game, oh, she gonna win that game. She ain't gonna like if she not. It's not gonna be because
Mm-hmm.
we not gonna lose because of her. And you gotta have somebody next to her like
Mm-mm.
that. And if you add somebody like her with
Yeah.
Mariah, I remember watching her play this year. That's why I'm thinking. I had to think back when we played them, and I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, she's cold. I was in my head. I was like, yeah, she's not. Yeah, I take that because Ron is you gotta have two strong. I want two strong minded people, man. I want a strong minded team where
Mm-hmm.
we gonna play defense and we gonna score. Like I want us to play basketball very. And we're gonna be and with Coach Wright, it's no way you gonna come in here, you gonna have to play her way anyway. But that's the way she plays, and I want players that fit that mold, and that's one person. She's one person that will.
and I feel like she's more of a pass first player, and that's what I'm looking for. The third scenario that I have on here, I'd be more lenient, and I'll talk about that a little later. I've heard some people saying Brianna Jones and Cheyenne Parker would negate each other with there being less space in the paint. I don't know if I buy that. I still think they would be a good combo. Do either of you have any qualms with that or any hesitations on that front court duo of Parker and Jones?
A tiny bit.
No, I don't think that'd be a problem. I wouldn't think that Cheyenne knows how to play the post and outside, so I don't think that'd be a problem for her at all.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I want that three ball to start sinking for her again, like it did a couple seasons ago and previous seasons before that. I want that to return to her game. So
it's once it. I mean, think about it. If you add Brianna and then you put Cheyenne's three ball where it was, that's kind of scary. That's scary.
So if we can get a true center, like I would start calling us a top 6 team. If we get Azare or Brianna, I'm going to be really confident and knowing on the timeline and everything. So, and then my draft picks, the draft pick we had with trading it off, I got Charisma Osborne. I've really liked her game this season. When she's had a healthy team, like last year, she was having to play at the point and just really overextend herself with just key players that were injured, and now she has more talent around her, and she's just really shined. And I think she would be a good pick if this trade occurred and we had the 6th overall pick, someone to be behind Mabry and come off the bench. So, and then a walk, like her 3-point game overseas, I think I saw she was shooting 40%. Like just someone with that height, being able to have the outside game she does, and if she's able to grow her strength in the paint, like that's just going to be a star player. In Dallas, they just have an overabundance in centers. They have to make a decision with having Bella Allery, Tiara McCowan, Charlie Collier. Like they have to make some choices on who's going to be on that roster. And I'm hoping we can be the team that takes advantage and can take someone with a really high ceiling and a walk. Either of you have thoughts on Kool-Aid?
I mean, I like her game. I like overseas mostly because like the clips I've seen of her overseas, like when she has like the green light to just do whatever she wants. You know, I would love to see that translate into the W, but you know, the W is, you know, they gunning for you, so we'll
So
see if it translates a little bit more this year. Go ahead.
So what center what center would you want to go for in a trade? Like, let's say this trade happens with the Wings. Is there someone else you would rather have if McCallum's off the table between Collier and
McCallum is
Allery?
going to be off the table.
I think it would be nuts if they did not re-sign her and that they traded her rights away.
Absolutely, it would be crazy because yeah, with that upside that she has, I mean, you would definitely want to lock her down. So I mean, I like a walk though. I think that she has all the potential in the world. She just gotta adjust to the game better over here. I feel like that's all it is, and maybe bulk up on her frame a little bit.
That's my biggest thing. Like, if you're going to be a center, like, you have to be able to assert yourself in the paint. So I think her jump shot, it was there at times last season in Dallas, and there were times where I wanted her to get more playing time because those were falling. But if you're not able to defend in the paint and assert yourself offensively in the paint, I can see why there were hesitancies, and I'm hoping that improves for 2023. My last one, I went with more like our strategy from last season in keeping like the main core and then just adding some other pieces to go around it and still not fully commit to being a contending team. So I kept Erica Wheeler. We're a little younger. I got us getting Izzy, who could be interesting at the 3/4, and then Alicia Clark at shooting guard for us, and Maya Caldwell signing somewhere else. Anything on here that you have questions on, or you would change personally, or don't like at all?
All I'm gonna say is,
I'll say Izzy.
Maya. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What thoughts do you have on Izzy?
Not having Maya. Well, this is the thing. I really like Izzy, but I feel like she would be better suited in another uniform other than a Dream uniform, honestly. Because I just feel like, I mean, the mentality would definitely fit, but I don't know if her play style would. I don't know.
Expand on that a little if you don't mind.
Like,
so why don't you think her play style would blend with like the other players on this roster?
Because it just feels like a hodgepodge, really.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I feel like, yeah, with Cheyenne, I don't know. It's just, I feel like, I mean, Izzy can shoot, which is it's a plus. Her banging in the post, I mean, having Cheyenne with her back to the back, I don't know. I just don't.
Because I had hesitancies too. I just wanted to hear what you said. I don't know if the chemistry would be there either with her having to assert herself more in the paint than being able to be more of a mix of being able to do like her mid-range jump shot and just having to be more relied on to get dirty on the glass and everything. So I wasn't overly confident either. In this lineup, like I felt like with bringing Wheeler back, Haley Jones and drafting her, she's been extremely efficient at the 2/3. So she would instantly bring some playmaking ability into our lineup, like inject it a little. So like some similar pieces to last season, but maybe having Haley Jones, it would expand our games a little. But this one, I would not feel more confident. It would be more another layover season before we fully try to commit. Like that's my behinding. And then I don't know. I really liked Milik out of Minnesota when she got opportunities, especially when Sil was out for a little while. I thought.
Oh yeah, Milik.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I
kind of liked her game though.
I like. I think I like this one. I think the only thing is I think if we bring back the core pieces, I feel like if any, I feel like we bring. I would rather us bring back Maya than Erica Whitley.
And then
I'll
this
say
one,
that.
I'm going with worst case scenario. Like I only did her
Mhm.
once because I
Okay,
think
yeah,
there is a
yeah.
chance that she wants to
Yeah.
go somewhere else with how last season ended. Like she said all the right things. She's a locker room player for sure, like in standing behind her coach. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering as she thought over the off season, uh, thinking like maybe I want to see if I can get a larger role with another team, and maybe it's not Atlanta. And she's another player that killed it overseas when she was in Israel. I think there's enough from last season and what she did overseas to tempt some teams to give her that chance if she doesn't believe that Atlanta is that place. So I would love to have her back. If she wants to come back, no brainer that we re-sign her. I just don't know for sure, like Amber said,
Mm-hmm.
if she does or not. It's definitely not a guarantee if we ask her if she doesn't want to hear other offers from other teams.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. If she's gonna listen, then we gotta just fight for her. But if she's
I
just
agree.
gonna stick with Atlanta, then she's gonna stick. We just need to go ahead and get it to her. Just give it to her. But
I
if
agree.
she's listening, then let her. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, let her listen. And if she feels like we're not the best opportunity, let her be free. But if it's not, then just let it go. If we're not her best opportunity and she wants to leave, just we can't fight that. I don't think we can fight it because of what happened last season. I think we
Yeah.
don't really have a
Definitely
foot
agree.
in the door. Like we just don't have a good foot now.
Mm-hmm.
Like as much as we can say, like, okay, she had a great, like we did great things, blah blah blah. Like you can sell her on it, but how you ended the season, it'd be like, like dang, you saying all of this, but how we ended, it didn't end right. You can't. You trying to like resell something that was sold in the
Yeah.
beginning, and now you got to resell it again, and she has to hear the same thing again. You got to, people got to get tired. People kind of get tired of hearing the same thing over and over and over and over. So if she has to, if you got to change the pitch, like it's a lot of stuff where it's just a lot of fight that we have to give her and to bring her in to keep her, especially if she's starting to listen to other people. Now, if she's just strictly like, hey, I want to stay here. Y'all showed me a lot. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. It's the end of the, even though how the season ended wasn't the way I wanted it to end, I still want to, succeed here because I see the vision. Okay, cool. Stay. You gotta keep her at that point
Mm-hmm.
because she's giving you her loyalty. You gotta keep her at that point. It's immediate. Like sign her immediately. If she comes out with that, sign her immediately.
Yeah. And Amber, I know that you looked
Mm-hmm.
at free agents too. Like, what are some players that I didn't mention that you think could potentially be good fits or players to watch for over free agency that will be getting in a couple weeks?
Well, I feel like you covered a lot of them,
I
but like
tried.
mine would just be more of a fantasy. Yeah, mine would be
No,
more of
please,
a
I want to hear the fantasy.
fantasy and a dream. So my fantasy, of course, being an LA fan,
Yep.
bringing NECA, bringing
Oh my gosh.
Candice, or like who, that would be amazing for me. This is just for me. But yeah, I feel like, either one of those players honestly could like plug into most systems. So I mean, I feel
And
like,
just
hey, if you throw neck up on and be like, hey, come on, let's do it.
and I
I feel
don't
like
know,
she
like
would.
NECA's locker room presence alone. Like I think she's one of the
Yeah.
most underrated players in the league, and she's someone that's high esteemed, and I still don't think it's enough with what she's had to do and playing on in difficult situations to say the least with the Sparks the past 2 seasons where it hasn't
Oh
been
Lord.
the most fun at times playing with them with the amount of losses that have taken place. But
I was thought
what
you was talking about the drama
Mm-hmm.
more than the losses. I was gonna say the drama has been horrible. That last season felt like a
Oh.
reality show for the Sparks. Like every time I looked on Twitter, it was
Oh
another Sparks
man, I
player
wish the
oh,
tweeting
I know,
cameras
something.
was
and they
rolling.
need to play Kennedy. I'm hoping Kurt plays Kennedy.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh. I was
god.
just looking. I kept looking and I was just like, yo, is there another Sparks player talking about it? Was just crazy stuff. Like when we got okay,
Jeez
Liz goes to the
Louise.
Sparks. Cool. I was like, oh, they a super team now. I said they finna go crazy. And then they got then we
I didn't
traded
think that.
and
Man.
then we traded oh my god, who over Hollywood. Then we traded Hollywood. And I was like, bet, oh, they gonna be
Mm-hmm.
nice. I said they gonna be cold. And then we start the
Mm-hmm.
season. I'm
Should have
like, what
been.
the Sparks doing? Oh, they suck. What happened? And then I start
Oh
reading
my
people's tweets.
God! Listen,
And then I see Hollywood tweet these most indirect tweets like she did in Atlanta. And then I see Liz
I'm
talking about
saying
she's
the
starting the
most cryptic.
OnlyFans. I'm like, yo, what is LA? I was like, I think it's, and you know what? And everybody, they say this about every team in LA. Something about LA changes the players. I don't know what it is about LA, but every time a player go to LA, something changes. Every time. It's something about LA.
Yeah.
It's something in the air out there. But every
And I'm
time a play,
hoping
it don't matter
Kurt
the sport they
helps
play.
change that environment.
Every time it's this. You know what? You get around rich people that
Hopefully.
do a lot of crazy stuff, and they get to start doing crazy stuff with them because they rich too. So you like, because I was really I was more shocked at Hollywood's behavior at the beginning of the season. And then when she got traded, I was like, okay, cool. We don't need to hear your voice, you know. And then you were still talking after you got traded, and I was like, okay, please stop. And then you get to the Sparks, and then you talking about the coach, and then Derek Fisher gets fired. That was the funniest thing I ever thought in my life. I was like, bro, Fisher was just. Oh, I don't even know how he got that job. First off, I don't even know how he got the job, but Fisher gets fired. Then you get another coach, and I'm like, okay, so they go. I'm like, bro, this is sucks. I was like, it has to suck. Like, because at least like for the dream, like last season was horrible. Like last season was like not last season, not last season, but like was horrible. Like when we had to go
21.
through 3 coaches in one season, I was like, nah, this is nuts. So to see the Sparks have to go through that, and then to think that Hollywood left thinking like, oh, I'm gone from all that drama, and then have to go through
Going
that
to a
all of
better
that again.
place, yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes, like they say, the grass ain't green on the other side, and she thought she was gonna have it sweet. Nope, it was horrible. I was just
and
like,
LA
bruh.
though is still like a premier spot to go, especially with having a coach that led their team to the championship. If NECA returns, there's going to be a lot of incentive for high caliber free agents to sign with them. I think there's a chance that they're a really competitive team. We'll just see how it shakes out, but yeah, I think it's going to be a different season this season. But who else is on your list, Amber, besides NECA? Who else is on this fantasy list for you, and who would put on a dream uniform this coming summer?
My fantasy list. Well, my fantasy list, I would love to get Alicia Gray. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Because we'll have to trade for her. Or is she a restricted free agent? Hold on.
No, we would have to trade for her. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, that would be a dream scenario. I mean, I would take Mabry though. I would take Mabry because I was a big fan of her when she was in LA as well. Possibly even bringing back new and improved Brittany Sykes. Maybe. I'm just saying,
man, what she brings defensively, but just I love Sykes.
Exactly, and that's the version that we didn't get with the Dream previously because she wasn't much of a defensive player. Because I remember her saying in interviews like, yeah, they would screen me, like they would really go after me, they would target me on the defensive end. And now seeing how she's
like, a fat person,
totally revamped. Exactly, she totally revamped on the defensive side of the ball. So her coming back, and that, I mean, hey, I would love to see her back in the Dream uniform. I would love
someone else.
I feel like some of these years. I feel like some of the years we had some players like you'd be like, bro, we should have been good with those teams, and like I feel like it just didn't feel good. Like when you were like being a Dream fan and like after the first, after the run we had, and everybody was like, oh, they're gonna be on top for a while, and then we kind of just slowly just kept decreasing and decreasing. It was just like, man, like what's going on with the Dream? And then it kept getting worse and worse, and then it just felt like bad. And then when we got to 2020, I was like, I was like, bro, you know what? It was the year we got Eric. I said, you know what? I'm gonna stick with. I'm gonna watch this team every game, no matter what, no matter how bad it is. And God, it was bad. Oh my God, it was so bad. And I was just like, we gotta change something. I was like, we gotta change something because it did not feel good to watch. that team play basketball. Like it just felt so dysfunctional. Everything
And that
just
was
felt
what was so
dysfunctional.
fun with Coach Wright and Dan Padover last season. Like they instilled a completely different culture. Like I was almost I did get a little teary after the Wings game, and they were celebrating in the locker room, and it was just a completely different vibe. That was just so much fun, and just
It
throughout the
felt
season,
so
even
much
when we were
better.
losing, it still felt different with how the team was under Wright and trusting her process and everything. I don't know if you two felt the same last season.
I'll say that having Renee by the team was something that changed that. I'll say I always give Renee her shout outs and think she shouts me out a lot too. Thank you, Miss Renee. But Renee, I give her flowers because when she brought that team, something changed. It changed like that. I don't know. It felt like people got more interested when she brought the team. Like I don't know what it was. Like it felt like this. It broke the shackles off the we've been going through these last couple of years. Like we had been in this dark cloud, and then when she bought the team, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going to be a Dream fan because of Renee." And her being on, and a thing that helped us a lot too was her being on Hawks TV. When she was on the Hawks pregame show and postgame show and doing all that, like her being that, she was the women face of the Hawks like that whole year. Everybody loved Renee. Renee was the best player. Like it was when she bought the team, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go be a Dream fan because of Renee." A lot of the Hawks fans, a lot of the fans got renewed because of that.
I respect Renee. Like I think it's awesome, like a player becoming an owner. But that first season did happen under her tutelage and everything. Like I don't know, like Padover and Wright made a huge difference.
They did.
And they were great hires.
When she finally got her staff right, I feel like it took it when she finally got the pieces right. That's what it took. I think she thought going into it that Coach was going to stay, and I think that I can't think of that lady name. I'm
Pauline,
glad I remember her. I forgot her name. I'm really happy I did. Yeah, I feel like she screwed so much over. She screwed the team over so bad because like the season was starting like in 2 days, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Baylor." We were like, "Huh? What? Whoa!"
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt.
Like, you going where? You doing what? The season starting. Oh yeah, I'm going to Baylor. Yo, like, and it was so random. And then we was like, okay. And then we had to like change, like, bro, they were making merch and like they had to change the merch and take merch off the Steam. I don't even know if y'all were following like the media aspect of it, but it was like they were changing, like if you were going on like the team store to buy stuff, like all her quotes from preseason was deleted. Like they had to like change all that stuff. Like, bro, it was so crazy because, and it was like in the day, like you got to think that was something where we were, remember that they had the pinwheel shirt, and that was I can't think of the older guy's quote, the old white guy's his quote, and it was like a Ferris wheel, and they had that shirt.
Yeah,
but it was a shirt before then.
Yeah.
And remember, it was a shirt before then, early in the preseason. That had it was a quote from her, and it was on the shirt, and it was her quote for the season. And then they got rid of it. They had to get rid of it because like, what were they gonna do with that? Like, you can't sell that no more. She ain't the coach. Like it was a lot of fans, and it was so bad when you look at the fan because, like I say, when Renee bought it, people got excited, and then the first move, right before the first game, oh yeah, the coach leaving. Like, how do you feel as a fan? Like, that's like being a fan and being like, oh yeah, look who we got. Oh dang, we ain't got it no more. Like, it just was.
Because she would have been the only coach. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just crazy.
Last season, like I feel a lot better with the direction we're going, and I liked Coach Wright, even though we didn't make the playoffs the first season, getting that 5-year contract. Again, just I really think she's a player's coach. I know that's used a lot, but just how the players talked about her, like just the interactions that I saw on the bench during games and after games, like the body language. I just think it's a completely different atmosphere, and I'm excited to see what happens for 2023.
She coaches like a player. I'll say that. She coaches like a player. Like, you can see how her, like, when she's talking and she's adjusting and it's like she imagine her dribbling the ball when she's calling plays. Because that's kind of what it looks like. Like, you can see it in her face. Like, she's really like, she is like her just being on the court. Like, that's really what it is. And then you see her on the bench and she's over there on the bench and she's talking like a player. If you hear how she's talking like, yeah, bro, like we gonna get right, like we gonna get this back right. Like she talks like she's one of them, and that's the best part about it. Like it's no like, dang, like like she's a coach. Like no, like she's in the field with them. Like she practices with them, she plays with them. Like she's brought an energy that wasn't there that year. That wasn't there last year. Like it just wasn't there. So when we say like it brought stability too. I'll say that. And that her getting that 5-year contract, that brings something that we haven't had in so long. And I said it and when I tweeted it, stability. We haven't had stability in a while. And what that gives us is stability. We know who our GM and our head coach gonna be. We pray and hope for 5 years. So that they're going to be here. They're not going to leave. Like, we ain't got to worry about who's going to be the coach next year. We ain't got to worry about who's going to be doing this, who's going to be doing that. Like, we know every role and every position on this team because they're signed here. And even in the franchise staff, they're signed there to be there for them. Like, that's what they're there for. They're there to be there for that position. They're not there to do some other stuff and then go do something else because the other person done left. They're there to be there for their reason. And that's the best part about it. And that's what I say. I applaud them last season doing what they did when they came in and just really just taking off when they came in. I remember when I got to go in, I was in the press conference, their introductory press conferences. And they did it together, which was crazy. I didn't think they were going to do it together, but they did it together. And like one of the main questions I was like, you got like hearing Dan talk about the plan he had. It was like uplifting. It was like, man, he wants to do this. And then Coach Wright, she was sitting in her living room. She was just, I want to do this. Like this is what I want to do with this team, and this is how I want to play. And she was like, we gonna play defense and we gonna score. Like she was like real serious about it. You were like, man, we haven't had this one. So like it felt like they were changing something. And then we got to the season, I was like, yeah, that's what I felt. And then you see the players, you're like, okay, that's what they feel. When you see it, when you start seeing it more and more, you're like, that's what they feel, that's what they get. And then when you get to talk to her, you see her energy, and when you get it like one-on-one, her in her press conferences, her energy one-on-one is amazing. Like she's always on 10. She's never low. She's never like you'll never see her down. Like she's always on 10. She's always smiling. If you see her on the bench, even when she's mad, she at least gonna smirk, she gonna smile. Like that's just the fun. Like it like I say, she's a player. Like she's stability and she's a player's coach. That's what they got out of her, and that's what we need. That's what we have not had. And you got somebody she's gonna lead us to great things. I'll give her. I know I have no doubts in my mind that both of them together are gonna.
I think she's the right choice too, and. Yeah, really hoping for playoffs this season, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we got through 50 minutes. We got through 50 minutes talking through these, and then we'll do like announcements as rumors are swirling of potential players that will want to sign with us or someone that may be leaving, and go from there with different reactions throughout the offseason. But anybody who tuned in to any of this, thank you so much for coming on, and feel free to post comments on differences you would make or any suggestions you would have on what you want to see on the dream lineup.
Y'all got anything to shout out? Definitely. Shout out what y'all got to shout out. Shout y'all Twitters out.
That's all I got.
Get y'all exposure out there, man. Shout y'all stuff out. I'm not doing mine. Everybody knows me on this channel.
Yeah.
Shout y'all stuff out.
I'm on Twitter. I'm posting endless stats, and a lot of you probably have me on mute because of all the stuff I post. But yeah. Yeah. What about you, Amber?
Yeah, follow me at AmbiRights. Just follow me on at AmbiRights on Twitter. Holla at me, debate with me.
Yeah, she is definitely open for debate.
Go ahead.
We're both open to conversation for sure.
Please, yeah.
Absolutely.
If anything, shout go to them two, because y'all, I'm telling you, they know more than me. I do not know a lot. I know Dream, but look. We talking and I'm reading stats. So if that gives y'all know what we have. If you watch the channel, you know how we talk about the people that read stats while you talking. So like they know they stuff. They are real deep into it. I wouldn't say I'm a rookie. I've been following it for a while, but I'm not deep into it like they are. Like they're them the people you want to talk to. I was the him and Devontae. Three. That was your three. Them the three that you need to go talk to. You come to me, I'm gonna give you some other I'm gonna give you a football analogy about it. So just figure it out. Talk to them too, because I'm not that deep. Like they're teaching me stuff. So like it's an experience, man. I like it though, because I get to learn. I love learning, so I get to learn with these two, and they it's fun. And so y'all know, everybody know, call on Tyrone ATL on Twitter. That's it. I don't even want to call it. I don't think I got nothing else to promote till I start doing my show again. So yeah. Oh, I do have something to promote. Georgia. That's all I have to say. Just go promote Georgia.
Right. Well, nice chatting with both of you, and we'll chat again when we start getting some announcements or rumors on what's going on during free agency. But everyone have a good night.
Can't wait.
Me too. Bye.
Bye.